Okay, so last video we added our new combat set also, but we never added it to the player. So let's do that before we add our jumping and sprinting. All right. So we go to ability system, attributes. So instead of this one, we're gonna go to miscellaneous, data table. Again, we select attribute, metadata, and then DT for attributes for data table, attribute, attributes, and player combat. These are gonna be the combat attributes for the player. We're gonna add, let's remember, we call it combat set, and we had attack speed. That was 1. Our base value is gonna be 1, so just normal 100% attack speed. Then after that, we had critical strike chance. We're gonna put it to 10%, 0.1. Oh, combat set. Make sure you name it combat set dot critical strike damage multiply. Sure. Change this. Had the wrong paste on. Okay. Critical strike damage multiplier. And lastly, we had damage reduction. And we'll leave it at 0, but for now, we're going to put it at, okay, we're going to leave it at 0 now. And then we're going to show you how it's actually working for us. Okay. Damage multiplier, we're going to put it at 1.2, so 20% more damage when you crit. And then we give it to the player. So abilities, player, ability sets, ability set. And over here, we add a new ability set. We select combat set. That's the type of it. And then combat. And then we play. And then we can see that we got the combat set. So we got a critical strike chance, critical strike damage multiplier, attack speed, damage reduction, which is 0. And to show off how that is actually that our execution is actually working, we do damage self 300 and we take 300 damage, right? See our health bar? But if we go ahead and switch our damage reduction to be 0.9, which is our cap that we set in the code, we go in here, we take damage 300, and we take 90% less damage. So as you can see, it's actually working. Okay, so we'll set it back down to 0. And we close this, close this. So everything's set up already. All right. Now we go and create our jumping. So to jump, first of all, we need a key. So we need input, make an action, input, input action, jump. And it's a bool. We're good. And we go to input, mappings. We add a new mapping, call it jump, and we use space. If you want to use controller, which I will add one, so you just add another one and you press whatever button you want to use jump for, right? And then you save, collapse everything, save again. All right. Now that we have our input set up, we actually want to make our jump ability. So we'll just create it in C++, keep it consistent. But we're not really going to do anything in C++, I don't think. So movement, add a real class, gameplay ability. And we are using UGSC gameplay abilities. Don't forget UGSC gameplay abilities. And we're going to call it my gameplay ability underscore jump. And then we okay. And we're actually not going to do anything here. So we're just going to compile. We're just making the class just in case we want to do something in the C++ in the class later. Okay. So abilities, player, movement, and here, create a new class, and we call it jump. My gameplay ability jump. Well, the engine comes with one too, but we're gonna make our own. Gameplay ability jump. And GA player underscore jump. Okay. Now once again, activate ability, we do commit. So if the ability was activated, we commit it. Then we are able to commit it. If we're not able to commit it, we end the ability. But if we did, we're gonna get avatar. And for this one, we're actually just gonna cast it to my player character so we can get the jump function. Right? But before we jump, I'm actually gonna find, so we're gonna do this on land it. Land it. So bind event to landed delegate. So we want to bind this event because we only want to end the ability after we land. We don't want to be able to jump again while we're jumping, right? So this is why we do this. And then we jump. So here we do create event. And let's fix this up. Then we're just gonna create a matching event on landed event. Here we're gonna end the ability. So usually you would end it over here, but we're actually gonna wait for an event to come and then we end it. But we need to give it a cost, right? Usually you would just put the cost right here in the cost gameplay effect. But for this, you would need to make a different cost class or blueprint for every single different cost that you want to do, right? But we want to use set by color cost. So we're not going to use this. We're going to implement our handle cost function here. Okay. So we're going to make a new function. We're going to call it handle cost. So this is going to apply the cost. And to apply the cost, we actually need a gameplay effect context. So this is a map. So the key for the map is going to be set by color, and we can call it stamina. Because it's going to take stamina to, this is just a key to find this value, okay? And then here you add your gameplay effect class. So we made our GE set by color damage. We actually need to make a GE set by color stamina, right? So we're going to go to our gameplay effects, the base. We're going to duplicate the damage and we're going to rename it to stamina. We're going to go in here and we're going to change everything that doesn't belong. So gameplay effect, damage type, add subtype, and stamina. So it's a damage to stamina, right? Okay. Again, if we're God, we don't want to take stamina damage. And then gameplay Q, character, add a subtag, stamina, damage taken. Add the tag. And that's it. And you can actually, and that's it. Okay. Oh, and modifiers, of course, instead of health, you want to go stamina. And so this is just the default. We're never going to be able to use this, but you create a child, you want everything to be correct, right? Okay, so now we go to our set by color. and we find stamina. Gameplay effects, stamina base. So GE, set by color, stamina. And now we change. So instead of attribute, we do set by color. And then set by color, stamina. So you can just do it by this, or you can create your own. So you can create your own. Instead of set by color, you do custom calculation class. And then you're going to select your calculation class here. So we'll do that right now. If you don't want to do this, you can just select scalable float or set by color. And then you just modify the set by color like we're going to do already, but we're going to use our custom calculation class. So let's create that really fast. This one's really fast, so shouldn't take too long. So in ability system, we do a new thing. We call it calculations. And in calculations, we're gonna add a new class. We're gonna call it mod magnitude calculation class, and we're gonna call it my stamina cost magnitude calculation. So my stamina cost magnitude calculation. And then public, we just do our constructor, and we override calculate calculate base magnitude implementation. And then private gameplay effect effect attribute capture definition stamina break def. That's it for that. And then we implement constructor and we overwrite this one. So constructor is empty. This one we do const f gameplay tag container. So we're gonna get the gameplay tags of a source spec dot capture source tags get aggregated tags. So the same we did it for our damage calculation. We're gonna get the source tags. Whoever's doing this, whoever's receiving, whoever called this effect tags. F aggregator evaluated parameters, and source tags, and then we set the source tags. Okay, and then we do const float cost equals spec dot get set by color magnitude f gameplay tag, and then we request the tag, and we called it set by color dot stamina. True and 0.f. Oh, too many again. There you go. And then we just return. So if the cost is less than 0.f, we are going to return, no, it's greater than 0.f, we're going to return negative cost. Or, and if it's less than 0, so if it's less than 0, we're going to return 0. Right? We don't want to give him stamina when we're trying to take stamina. And that's it. So now we go here and compile. Then we go back here, custom calculation class, and then we select our custom calculation class. Okay, so we created it. Now we can use it over here, stamina. Then we click set by color magnitude, and we choose the correct tag, which is set by color stamina. And here's how much it's going to cost. So set by color magnitude, you can make it cost however you want, how much you want. So I'm going to make it 10. So every time we jump, we're going to use 10 stamina. And then we go back to the cost. So how do we handle the cost? How do we apply this set by color to the player, right? The first things first, we're going to get our effect container. So we're going to get this effect container map. Effect container. And scroll down, get effect container. We're going to find. So we're going to find the key. The key we set was set by color stamina, right? So if we found this, we're going to break it. And we're going to get all the values, all the setup that we already did over here. They're all right here. So what gameplay effect do we want to apply? So we get, and is index 0. If you have more than one effect set for this, you have to plug in the correct index. And from here, we're going to make outgoing gameplay effects back. And then from this, we're going to do assign tag set by color magnitude. And the magnitude comes from here, set by color magnitude. I'm going to straighten this out. We're going to set the tag. Remember, set the tag again. We're going to set this tag given this magnitude. And then we're just going to apply it. Apply spec to owner. Because the owner is the person that's jumping. And that's it. So this is how we handle the cost. And we want to apply the cost before we actually jump. So in case jump gets interrupted by anything, right? So we're going to call handle cost right here. Okay, so if you do that right now, you jump. Oh, we haven't set it. We haven't given the ability yet, but now, what if we don't have 10 stamina to jump, right? It would still do it. It just wouldn't apply it. So we have to make sure. So this function over here, if you make a different gameplay effect for every single cost that you in your game, this would do everything we're doing for you. So if you put this here and it's 10, you don't have 10, it won't even commit it, right? It will break. But since we're using a custom way to do it, we're going to override can activate ability. And we're going to have a check for cost to see if we can actually activate it. So from actor info, we're going to break it. And from the ability system component, we're going to get float attribute. Get a float attribute from the ability system. And again, we're going to get the stamina. So this is your current stamina level for the character. And if it's greater than or equal to, we need to actually get the cost that we set it, right? So we have to get it from here. So we do effect container map. So we get it. We find, oh, we gotta find set by color stamina. So that finds it. Then we get it. No, we break it. And here's our magnitude. So we plug that in here. So if we have more than whatever this costs, we just return this. So if we do, it will return true. If it doesn't, it will return false, right? And this is can activate ability. If it returns false, it can't activate it, so it won't activate it. And that's it. That's how you jump. Now we give it to the player. So player ability sets. Then we add the ability set here, player jump, and the input jump, and on triggered. Then we save it, save. Now we just press jump and jumps. It takes our stamina. And if we get to the end of our stamina bar, we won't be able to jump anymore. Okay, I'm trying to jump and it's not doing it. Cool. So next video, we're going to do sprint, which is a little more complicated, a little more logic, because there's a lot of edge cases where you have to stop sprinting or when you can't sprint. All right. So we'll see you then.